powerful earthquake has hit Italy. At least 92 dead and thousands injured. A powerful earthquake in mountainous central Italy has knocked down whole blocks of buildings as residents slept early Monday, killing at least 92 people and trapping many more, officials have said. Tens and tens of thousands were homeless and at least 1,500 injured. The earthquake's epicenter was approximately 70 miles northeast of Rome, near the ancient medieval city of La Aquila. A few houses have remained standing, but just a few, said the provincial president. The earthquake struck at 3:32 a.m. local time in a quake-prone Abruzzo region and has had at least 9 smaller jolts since the beginning of April. The U.S. Geological Survey said Monday's earthquake was a magnitude 6.3, but Italy's National Institute of Geophysics put it at 5.8. Notice also the volcanoes are starting to rumble in Alaska and in South America. There's also been a swarm of earthquakes in Southern California, and earlier earthquakes around the island of Fiji, and also an underwater volcano. There has been a lot of seismic activity going on around the world lately, and officials in Italy say the death toll is likely to rise as rescue crews claw through the debris of thousands of fallen homes. At least 100,000 people are now homeless, and it is not clear if that estimate includes surrounding towns. At least 10,000 to 15,000 buildings were either damaged or destroyed as aftershocks rumbled through. Slabs of walls, twisted steel supports, furniture, and wire fences were strewn about the streets, and a gray dust carpeted cars, sidewalks, and residents. A resident standing by an apartment block that was reduced to the height of an adult said, "This building was 4 stories high, but no more." In another part of the city, residents tried to hush the wailing of grief, to try to pinpoint the sound of a crying baby trapped under the rubble. As ambulances screamed throughout the city, firefighters aided by dogs worked feverishly to reach people trapped in fallen buildings, including a student dormitory where half a dozen university students were believed still inside, trapped. In the historic center of the city, a wall of a 13th century church collapsed, and the bell tower of another church also fell. The 16th century castle housing the Abruzzo National Museum was also damaged. A number of other towns were also hard hit, with more deaths and more injuries and more destroyed buildings. A state of emergency has been declared in Italy, freeing up federal funds to deal with the disaster. Residents and rescue workers are hauling away debris from collapsed buildings by hand. Firefighters pulled a woman covered in dust from the debris of a 4-story home. Rescue crews demanded quiet as they listened for signs of life of other people believed still trapped inside. A hospital at risk of collapse. Parts of the town's main hospital were evacuated because they were at risk of collapse, forcing the wounded to be treated in the open air or taken elsewhere. Civil protection crews were erecting a field hospital to deal with the huge influx of wounded. On dusty streets, as aftershocks continued to rumble, residents hugged one another, prayed quietly, or frantically tried to call relatives. Residents covered in dust pushed carts full of clothes and blankets that they had hastily packed before fleeing their homes. Evacuees converged on an athletics field on the outskirts of La Aquila, where a makeshift tent camp was being set up. Civil protection officials distributed bread and water to people who lay on the grass next to heaps of their belongings. "It's a catastrophe and an immense shock," said one resident, who was moving with his family to the camp as a precaution. "It struck in the heart of the city, and we will never forget the pain." Residents of Rome, which is rarely hit by seismic activity, were woken by the earthquake, which rattled furniture and swayed lights in most of central Italy. This was a very powerful earthquake. The magma under the earth's crust is on the move. There is something going on around the world with the earthquakes and the volcanoes and the underwater volcanoes. The last major quake to hit central Italy was a 5.4 magnitude trembler in 2002 that killed 28 people. The quake was the latest and strongest in a series to hit the region, and there will be many aftershocks. Yes, and these quakes, they've started up just like last year. Like last April, there were like a whole series of earthquakes off the coast of California. And there was a volcano in Colombia, or Peru, yes. Then there was an earthquake in China that killed tens of thousands of people. Now, a year later, there seems to be a pattern of some kind. Yes, earthquakes are happening all the time around the world, but these earthquakes are in many diverse places. And there will be earthquakes in diverse places, which means all around the world, or in different places, not in just one region. Something is happening with the Earth's magnetic core. There could be a possible magnetic pole shift coming, which very well possibly could be connected to 2012, the alignment of the planets or the solar system with the center of the galaxy. When the sun's poles flip and the Earth's poles flip magnetically, and they line up exactly in a straight line with the center of the Milky Way galaxy. There's something about that. There is a meaning. There's something going on here. And once again, all these are more signs of the end times, transition days. The time has come, And there are many, many signs all around the world every day, more